All right. Hey, Andy. Hey, Joel. I'm Christopher Gallardo with You Lily Magazine. How are you both doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
We're having a good time. It's
It's a good
great.
day.
It's great.
That's
Yeah,
great to hear. So, I'd like to
yeah.
get this off with a fun question because this movie nearly deals with all of the red flags of dating, with some of them being more awkward with others. So, for both of you, what is that biggest red flag when it comes to dating?
Okay, I've got one, and this has been informed by my wife. So we didn't. My dating process with her was glacial. It took several decades, but her thing is when people don't listen. So,
Mm.
a guy just talks about himself all the time,
Mm,
shows no curiosity. That's a red flag from her.
Mm.
for
Joel,
sure. For
yeah.
sure, yeah. Me dating red flags. The scene where the guy says, "I don't really like animals. No, I just don't like them." I'd say
Mm.
that's something that I'm not on board with, and that would be that'd be a really like dark red flag.
Yeah, I also want to get into how some of the romance films out there like deal with finding the right person, but in this film you take your time in sort of building that bond between lovers in this natural way. So when you were developing this film, what was the one element that you knew you had to create to have that freshness to this concept?
Well, I think it all comes from the writing.
Mm.
I'm going to give props to Sarah Howard, who wrote this and who kind of based it on some of the experiences of her sister. So there was a kind of biographical truth to it. And so we wanted to approach a kind of this. So it's an interesting idea to put into a rom com, the idea of not an anti-rom-com, but kind of a look at the horrors of the potential horrors of dating.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
um, as I said earlier, like one of the things about this the structure was that a lot of the guys just talked about themselves,
Mm.
or they did things and they didn't ask about Bailey's character. Ironically, when Joel's character asks about her, everything goes wrong. He's like, "How about your family?" And so that is very cool because although we're following a kind of thread about empathy and about listening, actually people are complicated, and Bailey's character doesn't want to be asked about those things. And I think that just like subtext of complexity and edge to her character gave it a lovely non cliched aspect, which was really fun to work with.
Mm. Love to hear that. Joel, how did you also build that with Andy throughout this entire film, like about Mason's journey and him sort of developing that natural charisma and also just being himself to Leia as well?
Yeah, I've got a lot of that natural charisma myself, just personally. So that was pretty straightforward. No, Andy and I had a lot of conversations about Mason, how we wanted him to kind of have that charisma, that self confidence to be able to walk into any room and be able to take a joke, be able to make a joke, poke fun, as well as really sit in an empathetic moment and to really listen to someone, take them in, hear them, and support them. And I think that that's one of the coolest things about Mason is he's well rounded, but he's empathetic and he's got a really good heart. And that was really important. Andy, you and I talked about that quite a few times
Yeah.
over the pre-production and during production, and then finding the dance of like where like which scenes do we kind of you know push on certain moments and really highlight certain aspects of Mason that Leah in the film really like honestly like needs to receive in that moment, and how can he kind of help her?
Yeah.
Mm.
So
So
it's
building
all
this.
Andy, really.
It's barely me. I was barely awake, 'cause I had to deal with jet lag. I'm from the UK, so I
Mm.
was sleeping a lot of the time. And Joel was so kind because he had a whistle, and then they would wake me, and I would appear to be conscious. My directing style.
Love it. Love that so much. Do you guys think that there's like some unseen, underrated traits of both Mason and Leah that you think audiences will not necessarily pick up on the first time, but will pick up on if they rewatch the film again?
Yeah, I think the Leia character has some kind of trauma going on from her childhood when her mum left. And it's left her, rudderless and reliant upon the love and support of both her grandmother, who is played by Annie Potts, who we just need to say
Amazing.
is a legend,
Yeah.
and also Luxie Banner, who plays her friend, who is also fantastic. And so there's a fragility in Bailey's character that is covered up by the kind of sarcasm and cynicism, and I think that is very compelling.
I think what's really cool is the relationship between Gigi and Leah, Annie Potts and Bailey. They did such a good job in this movie. Like their relationship feels so strong, and like uplifting and encouraging. I'm, you know, I grew up very like listen to your elders, be willing to take advice, hear out wisdom, that kind of thing. And I feel like Gigi's character is just always there to support Leah, and it's not always what she wants to hear, but it's what she needs to hear. And I just love that. And so there's multiple times throughout where like I think rewatching the film, there will be more to pick up on in there.
For my last question, Joel, I have to put this back to you because I absolutely love Super 8 so much. And I've also seen another Spielberg film that's come out recently, Disclosure Day, and I have the bucket right here.
Nice, you got the popcorn bucket.
Somehow we were able to, but even though both films are like action packed, both of them are like thematically connected by humanity's idea of empathy and understanding. So from working on Super 8 to this film now, why do you think that idea of empathy and connection is more important to dissect in such films today?
Dude, thank you. That's super kind. So Super 8 came out. This is the 15th year anniversary, which is super exciting. Empathy, I think, is a central human trait that is sought out in all sorts of relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, like across the board. I think that the need to be heard and feel like you're not alone, and empathy, in my opinion, is the someone being empathetic towards you is the feeling that you're heard and understood and you're not alone. And so I think I think that's one of the like universal themes in people's lives, like that desire to be understood and known. But I think what we do in this film really, really wonderfully is the fear of being known really deeply and overcoming of that. I love Disclosure Day. It felt super nostalgic to watch for me personally because JJ made Super 8 after, in homage to a bunch of Spielberg's films as his mentor. And so watching Disclosure Day, I just felt like a little kid in the theater being like, this feels so familiar. I loved it. So that's cool. Thank you.
One last one for you, Andy. How do you think that idea of empathy connects with music? Because I know that you've worked on some music videos as well.
I worked on a few, my friend. I think, how does it connect with empathy? I think what I found was really rewarding working with all these musicians is I have a deep love and respect for music, and the creation of it, I think, is a kind of miracle. And I think I had such respect coming out of the gate for the musicians I worked with that I think it translated into the way I work with people. And so I was just not just a fan of the fame of the people, but like a kind of a fan of the wonder of making music. And so I never lost that love and respect for the people who can do it. And so I think that's a form of empathy. It's certainly a form of respect, which I think empathy is part of.
Andy, Joel, it's been a wonderful time talking with you, and really hope that you both have a wonderful day again. Thank you guys so much for everything. Nice to meet y'all.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks, man.
Christopher. Great questions.
Thank you so
Great
much.
questions.